We're live.
Yeah, welcome, folks. This is House Corrections and Institutions Committee. It is Thursday, March 19th. We are going back to our spreadsheet on the capital bill to keep walking through the initial markup. We're starting on section 10, line 86. This is the Agency of Agriculture. They put out water quality grants that really help farmers comply with some agricultural regulations, but also work towards our clean water initiatives. I also want to have the committee be aware that they're requesting 1.5 million in bonded, and there's also 11.8 million in the general fund for this same item. So I'm just putting that out to the committee. What was the committee's wishes? Go back to your document. This is, let's get. This may not be the right one. This isn't the right one. It's agency and
This is line 86, correct? Sure.
We had testimony February 19th, February 11th. I don't have a lot, I know.
What can you tell us, Troy?
Significant increase in regulations on farms, cost of clean water infrastructure to achieve these regulations is all on us, state.
remember one year we cut them because they didn't give us enough information.
I remember they came in here at the hour, they had plenty of information then.
Okay, it's funny.
Yeah, it's funny who might appear, if, some markup might go sideways in somebody's perception.
Looking on their document. In fact,
I thought they did a really good job this year.
Agreed. Because they know.
they know. They know. They're saying that they've got about 3.5 to $5 million per year in projects that come in, and they do, and 1.5, the 1.5 million would go to that. They also have 11 million plus in the appropriations. So really, it's a total of over 13 million. It's about $13 million total. It goes directly to farmers. So where are we with that, folks?
Good.
Yeah, I was,
And then if you want to go down to lines 93 and 94, again, which is VHCB. And we also are doing agricultural water quality projects there.
on 93, right? Not on 94.
93. 93, 94 is under VHCB.
Mhm.
So there's ag water quality grant projects there as well. The HCD works with the Agency of Ag, and they work with farmers. They could do maybe some smaller projects here. But the key with VHCB, they have the ability to draw down other dollars to help with the project. That the Agency of Ag does not have that ability.
Mhm.
So that's why we've carved that out for VHCB.
Yep.
So the Clean Water Fund Board recommends 800,000 for that particular piece. And that can draw down a lot more money than that. So are we okay with that?
Yep.
I'm
just
line 93.
Yes, sir.
Line 93.
Looking at repo notes quick.
And then for VHCB, this is also their other part, which deals with land conservation and other water quality issues. Run into with the land conservation. And that was 2 million.
No funds to be reverted, just so you're all aware. 2023, so FY 24. Ag water quality still had 410,000 in it.
Was that for VHCB or
Yeah.
for the agency?
That's VHCB. We're not worried. I'm just looking at my notes. We're not worried. We didn't revert this at all. They're gonna spend it, but I just want you to have the.
Did they give you a reason?
I can read it. This is by email. Just want to, providing in summary, funds through appropriation for ag water quality projects, and simultaneously for housing and conservation are fully committed to projects by the board. Funds are fully encumbered and secured by grant agreements. Does not have any unencumbered funds associated with the two funds of concern. One of them is ag water quality. So they're encumbered.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're all right
Yes, ma'am.
with all of that. So I'm trying to find my military. Yes. I get this organized as much as so. So for the military piece, the first part goes automatic. I mean, we do this for maintenance within our armories. We did not take any testimony at all on this. But we also put in last year 1.3 million for the Northwest Readiness Center, which is really their new armories that they build. So they kind of co-locate other armories, close those.
So that was Swanton and St. Albans consolidation, I believe.
So I'd like to know how far along they are on that and how much they've expended for 1.3. So if we could reach out to, I can't remember what it'd be. I don't want to go through the admin general. Maybe the admin general's office. I mean, the current admin general would come in here with capital projects, so I don't know who would be there now. But I just want an update on terms of where they are in the planning and design
Right.
for this.
Got his name, it was a colonel last time it came.
They come with 3 or 4 people.
Mhm.
But I would like to get. I'd like to get an update on that. Okay. Agency of Ag. We have taken testimony on. Last night.
Maybe.
I wanted to go to, I've never been to.
I know.
I had it on my
Yeah,
notes for
man.
last year and I just didn't make,
Every time we get our-
Yeah, that surprises me.
Maybe.
You seem like the type.
No.
I'm not very well traveled.
Just within the state.
We've been working on this for a long time.
And then Franklin
And the
County.
biggie, this is a multi-year that the 100-year anniversary is what? Is it 27? Or 29? I think it's 29. It's the 100-year anniversary. A biggie.
At 29, it says.
Right. So as of January 29th, they had, the bicentennial is 29. Between FY 23, 24, 25 bond, 26 bond, and 27 bond, they had 6 million. They've expended 3. And that leaves a balance of 2.9, almost 3 million. They want to finish phase 1. And then they want to do design and construction. They want to finish phase 1, which is design and construction. And then they will begin design documents for phase 3. They have design documents, I think, for phase 2. Trying to follow my notes. So it's really redoing the whole building. And they're doing roofing.
Mhm.
Outside work for the siding and painting and masonry. And they're saying that the exterior restoration will be complete. Except for a 15-year-old flat roof that's in the back of the.
Yeah.
Yeah, phase 2, the design is starting this year. That's for mechanical and electrical. And then phase 3 is the rehab of the booth space and the kitchenette and restaurants. So where are we with this?
I'm fine with it.
I wouldn't touch it.
Okay, the ag lab. Okay, so Tate, I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Okay. Oh,
Ag lab. This came from BGS that did this, so it would be this document here. Yeah, you got it. I had it.
Mhm.
Want to be a member of the committee? You want to run it?
He'd forget,
Wow.
he'd forget what he was doing if you.
uh-oh.
You want to run it?
He's like, yeah, I don't want to take that.
I'm making more money sitting over here.
Appreciate your honesty.
Absolutely true.
Oh, yeah, that chair, that's a lot more comfortable than those on the floor.
So let's get focused on the ag lab. We had BGS in on this. 3.5 million. We had the chart is incorrect, I think. Chart was incorrect. So we had 3.5 million last year. I don't do math in public.
Nothing this year.
I just
Well, I
have,
want to make sure we're still on track.
yeah, I have a note about signed contract that wasn't in place when that came in.
What?
Bids are due in 2 days.
What's your date on that, Joy?
19th of January,
January?
29th, I'm sorry.
Yeah, January. Or what did you say about a contract?
My only notes are, do we have a signed contract?
Okay.
Well, I have a note that they hope by Christmas, the whole project will be done.
Mhm.
That's the plan.
Yep.
Anticipate starting construction spring.
But this year,
I might be a. Yeah, I don't know about that year, but yeah, side note.
well, it would be spring of this year.
That slide for some reason indicates there's a 1.5. Why it's for 27, which
So they have
It's not.
5.3, they have 5.3 million today.
Yeah.
They don't have the FY 27 bond, they're not doing FY
Right.
27 bond, so they have 5.3 million. The RFP went out and it was 144,200, so there is a balance of about 5.1. Cole, could you just double check that we're on track?
Yeah.
That the 5.1 is gonna complete the project?
Just to clarify, this is the 1.5 for the 27 bond. That's where Joe said it was just a typo.
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't understand what you said.
Well, it's not the only slide, but the 1.5 that shows up there on the 27 bond.
Right.
It's not supposed
It's
to.
not there.
It's
Right.
not there. Right, that
Right,
was.
I'm
the
just
typo.
making sure
was
that
wrong.
Yeah.
One of the spaces that Joe said it was typo.
So
Right.
there's 5.3 million for this total project. They've expended 144. So that leaves about a 5.1 million left.
Yeah.
The 144.2 went for the RFP. So I want to make sure there's enough money there to complete the project because they want to complete it by the end of this calendar year, which then kicks it into FY 27. Okay. Public safety. Public Safety. This is the Rutland Field Office. This is to move it to Clarendon. This is ongoing. And let me see if I can find, oh, probably have. Have them. Find a document to take. So I'm looking for my document. Find it. It's no. It's DOC, that's public safety. Okay.
He's good stuff.
Shaftesbury.
Right.
It's an estimated cost of 19 million. They said this was in March 29th. The schematic design is 60% complete. They did reallocate a little bit of this money. But they have a balance. They've said, no, we gotta go to
Clarendon.
Clarendon. I went there first too, yeah, Clarendon. So they've got a balance of 3.6 million, which, that's what we got, 3.6. Or not, this isn't adding up, right? 2 million in bond and 2. We don't have cash for this.
Yeah.
Well, it's zero
If you look
here.
behind you. It says.
Oh, yeah, a lot of these slides are just, it should say,
It said bond.
it should say bond for 27, not cash for 26.
Bond,
Yeah.
27.
Okay, I see.
Excel Franken file.
It's,
I'm
it
used to
seems
working
to,
with
it's
them.
just like every other, they're just there to see if we're paying attention.
We didn't have any cash on this that I could see.
No, but we do have 27 bond, which is listed at 0.
Right. So the Williston facility went ahead of this one.
Yep.
So that's why now we're doing it. And then the Shaftesbury, there's still, we put in money previously in Shaftesbury in the past sometimes. So right now for Shaftesbury,
Still need land for that, right?
Yeah, they're gonna start planning and do a land search with
Yeah, that's what that's what it's for.
just for land search and to figure out what we're doing. So it's kind of all in the same region. So what are we doing with Clarendon? Are we comfortable with the current amounts?
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
Shaftesbury? Okay, then let's jump to the special teams. Urban search and rescue. This is $500,000 cash. They're looking at possibly using the old Williston Police Barracks. And they might also look at another site because the barracks, the Williston Barracks may not be large enough. It holds the Swiftwater Rescue. It holds cold storage for boats and snowmobile. It has the hazmat.
Again, it's many millions of dollars worth of equipment
Yeah.
that we want to protect.
So they have 250,000 cash. And then in FY 25,
They got another 850.
they got another 850, so we're at 1.1 million.
If I recall correctly, there's some question as to what might happen with traffic patterns at the old Williston.
They're waiting on whether or not that light's going on.
Yeah,
Right.
and so I don't know what the timing of that is.
So what is the 1.4 million gonna get us?
They said either design docs or to purchase land, depending on.
Well, they may use the Williston.
And that would be done for design docs. Yeah.
I would like to know a little bit more about this in terms of what's the 1.4 gonna get us?
That's not gonna come back.
It's all right. And also for John, we need some language. Previous bills, we gave the authority to sell the Williston Police Barracks.
Oh,
We
that's
need to
right.
take that away, and we might need language to allow them to purchase land for this particular project. So I just want an update on this. Going around and round in circles on this one. We were gonna go out, lease land, and then we're gonna go out, and find someplace else, and now we've come full circle, and we're back to the Williston. It's up to the authority to sell it. So we need to go back to previous bills, take care of that. Language given authority to purchase land for this.
Kind of an unfortunate site to use as a storage facility.
They currently are.
I understand that, but it's, you know,
They would renovate it.
higher and better use for that property, but.
Williston didn't want it.
Williston didn't want it. We looked at that 2 years ago, gave them the first option, first right of refusal.
Yeah, community center.
Not so
There and things like that.
Yeah.
We gave them the first right of refusal.
No, I recall them being in here last year.
And we've also thought that was prime property to sell.
Nobody seems to want it though, right?
Well, then things change on the state level and say, we own this and we're looking for another building for the special teams. Let's see if we can use current property that we already own.
There's merit to that too, but it's an unfortunate site to use as a storage facility.
It's prime development. again, that
Right.
the State doesn't need. But on the other hand, we've got the building. On the state land, and we can use it.
I understand
The
both.
other concern obviously is the small, which they testified to.
Pretend
as you
because
said,
there was something
Am I out there?
back
Where it's located?
it will
Yeah.
extend to.
It's gotta be. I'm not sure how big the lot is, that's what we call.
So I just want more information. Cole,
I call you Mr. Booth, Toll Booth.
It's a 7-figure property.
okay, judiciary, the courts. The courts.
Yeah.
Essex County.
Hmm?
The veterans over.
Oh, all right. Okay, forgot about that.
Uh-oh.
What?
Keep the
Veterans Home.
Veterans.
It's gonna be on.
Okay, let's shift gears and go back up. The Veterans
I
Home.
want to hear about the garden.
Veterans Home is on line 54 and 55. We have our document as well. Morning, Steve. Good morning, Steve. And we have Greg with us as well. And I know Melissa was not able to come in at short notice and we apologize. We're doing markup of the capital bill, which is we're going through line item by line item of all the projects statewide that are been requesting dollars. And just want a little further up, more update in terms of all your moving pieces of the Vets Home. We had your document that was submitted to us the end of January. And we're going through that And you just have so much moving pieces here with previous appropriations. And we just wanted an update on where you are with all of this. That's all it is. You've got furnishings going on, you've got heat pumps, boiler project, elevator, washer dryer, the laundry room, a wing, and then now you've got the sewer pipe replacement.
Generate.
That's
Ah.
generator. That would be with, yeah, that's right, the generator.
23. But they've been waiting to possibly switch to a whole house generator. Or a similar cost.
You need more information on the generator. That was 4 point what?
4.5. FY
That
20.
was from, is that calendar 23 or fiscal? That's fiscal.
Calendar 23, FY 24.
FY 24.
Can I ask you the date again, Troy?
That's out of our repo subcommittee.
Oh, thank you.
Question
Mhm.
for you.
Yep.
Like none of that.
That's why we're at, because it's in previous capital
Okay,
bills.
gotcha. Thank you.
That's what's hard with some of this, because it's in previous capital bills. And then it just kind of, year over year,
Gotcha.
it just kind of, you don't want to lose track of it. Okay. So I don't know who goes first, Steve or Craig?
Well, I think we'll tag team it.
Okay,
I'm Steve McClafferty. I'm the finance director here at the Vermont Veterans Home, and I'll let Greg introduce himself.
okay.
Good morning, all. I'm Greg Krzan. I'm the Environmental Services Director here at the Vermont Veterans Home.
Mhm.
And there was a question from one of our committee members about why is some of this money not showing up? So let me, for folks who are taking notes,
Mhm.
FY 24, we put in a total of about 5.9 million for different projects. And part of it was just regular maintenance. There was 4.5 million for the emergency generator and boiler replacement,
Mhm.
elevator upgrade of $1 million, and then furnishings and security systems for 230,000. That was in FY 24. FY 25, we did not put anything in. FY 26, we put in the air handlers, and we put in the expansion of the laundry facility.
Mhm.
And then we also freed up some money from B and C wings and put that towards the A wing
Mhm.
for that. So that's where we are with all the moving pieces. So we just want to know where you are now in terms of these different pieces. So let me start first. I'm on this sheet for folks. Maybe we can put this up. And this will help you both, Craig and Steve. That's what we're looking at here. We're going to put that up on our screen. Okay, can you see that, folks? Steve and
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's start at the top with resident furnishings. So we have put in 230,000 previously in resident furnishings. So we have, what I have for notes, you in January, as of January, the end of January, you had spent about 96,000, and then you were ordering the wardrobes, and the 133,000 was going to pay for the remainder of that. Is that still on track?
Ye-
Yes and no?
Yes, I thought I had unmuted. Yes, we ordered, they come in, I believe the furniture is coming in mid to late May, Greg?
That's correct.
Yes,
It is ordered and we're just waiting for delivery.
And the 133, does that cover it?
yep, that'll take care of, that'll bring the balance down to 0.
Okay,
Hmm.
well, that one's easy.
Yes.
Let's keep it going.
Yes,
Heat pumps, that is. The heat pumps would be, is that the air handler?
Yeah, that's what Melissa was calling them. There was air handlers, but they're heat pumps. They're the module units that go in each space of the floor mounted units, the water to air systems.
So we put in 710,000.
Mhm.
So where are you right now? We had a testimony we had that you were 65% complete. And that
So-
the heat pumps would hopefully be in March. So,
Yeah, so just to touch base on that, we had a few issues with some of the units after being installed, and we called in the manufacturer, Climate Master. They sent reps down to test the units and the units that aren't installed yet, and there's a lot of quality control issues with them. So we're still in talks on if they're going to recall these and replace them. So we're on hold right now on moving forward on that project. Instead of installing them and having them fail. We found multiple units that weren't charged, had leaks, controller issues. Our HVAC technician had to replace one unit 3 times. So we've decided that we definitely needed to call in before we waste any more time installing these.
so the company that you worked with, are they covering the costs at all of the repairs to these units or even willing to put in new ones at no
Yep.
cost?
So what they did was they asked us to try to calculate the amount of lost time and parts for installing these, especially the ones that have failed, that have been installed, and we're working through that process right now, and they'll reimburse us for that time.
So how many heat pumps are modular? How many were you looking at?
There's a total, I think, of 50. I don't have that right on hand. It was like 56 or 53 units that we've
Okay.
purchased, and I believe there's maybe 20 of them that have been installed out of that before we found issues. So they came and they looked at all the ones, even the packaged ones, and ran tests on those and found there's several of them that have some issues. So instead of running through and finishing up installing, they want to see if they can make it right and either pull these units and replace them with different ones.
Yes. So what I had to date at the end of January, out of the 710,000, you had expended 446,000. So there was about 200,000 plus left. If they all fail, what's your plan for moving forward? If they all fail, I'm hoping we get our money back. We should.
I think this company is really wanting to keep their reputation. I don't know if you all have heard about the LG systems that were recalled throughout the whole
Huh?
state.
Yeah.
So we don't have any of those in this building, but this is kind of falling under that same recall process. So they have to make it right. You know, we have units that aren't even installed yet, still packaged. And if it comes down to it, if there's a certain percentage that are bad, they're going to have to replace all of them with brand new ones.
Yeah, that's good.
So if we expended, like the other note I had, you're getting the other heat pumps would be coming in March. So with a 50 plus heat pumps, that's what you were planning to do, 50 of them? Were you planning to do more than the 53, 56?
The first phase, I think we got a total of like 83 in the whole building, but the remaining ones work. You know, so we're not changing those out until, you know, later on if needed. I mean, they're all working and functioning properly.
So the remaining ones that are working, are those on top of the 20 that have been installed? that were installed before another company or another brand or part of the same project?
So the ones that have been installed were out of that original purchase, the 50, 53, 56 per order. So those 20s, the 20 of them have been installed and a few of them have been pulled out because they failed.
But you said there's 83, so I'm trying to get.
Right.
this-
So just to circle back on that, 80, there's like 83, 88 in the whole entire building. The remaining ones work and they have been updated over the last few years. So we don't have to replace those right away. We're just replacing the ones that were R22, which is the old refrigerant that we can't buy anymore. Ones that have completely failed and are not working at all.
Yeah.
So we're upgrading at the same time to the new refrigerant to meet EPA standards.
Mhm.
And you know, they're aging out. A lot of these are over 15 years old, and that's usually the max age on these type of systems.
So basically, have you used up the full 710 or are you still?
No,
have
we
about-
no, we still haven't used up the full 710. That last number that I gave you, the 446, that's where we are up to date right now.
So we're kind of on hold on this whole thing, just waiting to see how it's going to be resolved with the company
Correct.
and that you're made whole again.
Yeah, I don't want to waste any more resources having equipment put in that's going to fail. They have to be pulled back out.
Right. Let's move to the boiler project. And the boiler we had and the generator. It was both the boiler and the generator. We had put in 4.4 million in FY '24.
So that project, we had our pre-bid meeting and it is in design. We have, this was all through BGS also. We did our pre-bid meeting and now we've hired a contractor for design. So it's in design right now. We're hoping that maybe this summer we'll be able to start moving forward with all this equipment and install.
So is the 4.5 gonna get you there?
I think did you have the numbers of how that was split? Because I think the generators had one cost out of that. It was like 2 million or something like that. I don't really remember. I don't have that in front of me. But I think that generator number was a little inflated.
So the 4.5 million was for both the boiler and the generator.
Mhm.
So how much are you anticipating? You're in design right now, so you have some ballpark figure in terms of what the boiler would cost. So what is that number?
So I haven't gotten the design back yet with the number call out, but I'm pretty sure we're going to be using a majority of that 4.4 on
Just
both of
for
these
the
projects together.
So what's going on with the generator?
So we have two of them that are, one's extremely old. It's failing, it's leaking fuel and oil, which is the one that runs our boiler room. So we're just limping by with that antique out there, if you might as well say. It's functional, but we have to watch it every single day. There's a propane driven generator out there that is older. It's getting to its end of life. That was going to be replaced. There's another diesel one that's out there that's getting towards end of life also. So either they were going to design for one larger unit to cover the two of them. There's a 70,000 kW and a 150, and put it in as one generator to cover those two with like a 250,000 or 250 kW unit, or whatever way they design it to be able to be functional. One unit we have is fairly new. That's the one that's over on A wing. So that would be staying in kind. But the other three generators are the ones that are going to be renovated and upgraded.
Between the boiler and those and 3 generators or 2 generators, whatever you may do, is the 4.5 million going to get you there?
That should. I don't see it going over that. Because the boilers, what we're doing is we're gonna change from diesel to propane.
Uh-huh.
And the boilers are gonna go on each, to cover each wing separately. Right now, we're pretty much handling the whole building with geothermal and all that. So we're gonna try to separate it out so we have backup if needed. You know, where it's all separated out. If there's catastrophic failure, the whole building's not going out. You know,
Right.
it'll be individual wing.
Any questions? And now the washer dryer. We spent a lot of time on this last year, feels like last week. And we put in 340,000. It's also for the laundry room too, the washer dryer replacement as well as the laundry room. And I know that there's been a lot of work being put into this. So where are we? And is the 340 gonna cover everything?
So the washer and dryer purchases that was a separate number a while back. We have 4 new washers installed. We have 3 new dryers installed. We're waiting on the 4th dryer to come in on the 31st of this month. So then we'll be all good with equipment. We just had our pre-bid meeting for the laundry extension. So either we're either going one way or the other, either building a building off of East Wing for laundry complete, you know, at one ground level. But the other thought we had was using the A wing dining hall. That's a big room in there that is not going to come down when we demo out the building that was supposed to be designed for a theater and a chapel area, which taking the cost down off a wing build and having our laundry room over there will save a ton of money on the build. Plus also it should get us where we need to be with this 340 to do a renovation over there using a space that we already have. So at the end of the day, we may actually not use all the money if we use a wing dining hall for our renovations and putting it over there versus building a new addition, taking more time, using more resources to build that. We did have a design back, but I'll have to defer back to Steve on that. I have to call the design company because I think it was 133,000 or something that they wanted for designing the new laundry room, that's outrageous.
So to put the laundry room where the A wing for their dining area, is that close by to the washer dryers? Or is that on the other end of the facility?
So actually, it's only probably about 150 feet away from where I want to put an addition. It's still centrally located in the facility where, you know, it's ground level. It's not on the second floor with ramps. And like in the past, discussion we had with the proposal on the laundry room build. What we have right now is a deteriorating laundry room on the second floor. There's ramps. We have an aging workforce, and I'm trying to avoid a workers' comp claim or multiple claims because, you know, they're wearing down. Our equipment is wearing down, our carts and everything, pushing them up and down up there. So if to get this room centrally located in a more habitable space, is going to be, you know, tenfold better than what they have. But having it on a wing, I think it's going to suit the same purpose as building another addition, and it'd be less money to just renovate that area, as we already have a space that has sprinkler systems and you know, water and
Already
sewer
set up.
underneath it. Yeah.
So we allowed you last year, we gave you some money from B and C wing. And we put in 1.5 million for design and construction of the A wing. So we need an update on where you are there, but with moving the laundry room to part of A wing, kind of helps spread the money between what was left of the 340 after you bought the washer and dryer. So you can combine that money with the 1.5 million that we've put aside for A wing. Correct?
That would be a Melissa question. I don't know what she did with the A-wing stuff. I know we had design that we had to pay for, and we I think she pulled the money from BNC to pay for those designs.
Right.
I can't speak for her.
No,
You know,
we
that's
did
way
that.
above.
We did that for you last year. So we moved money from B and C
Mhm.
over to A-Wing, and it was 1.5 million.
Correct.
And that's for design and construction. I don't know if the 1.5 million is gonna get you all through construction.
Oh,
But,
no.
No.
Right.
No, BGS just sent us a new updated price for that construction and it has gone way up. It was like 47 million now or 48 million. It's an insane amount of money. And then the longer we wait, the price is gonna go up higher with inflation and material costs.
Any beds, okay. Moving the laundry room there isn't gonna help in the overall cost of redoing A-Wing.
Well, it'll take down quite a bit of expense, not having to do a theater in there and a chapel and so on and
Is
so
that-
forth. So we're eliminating square footage.
So was that included in the original estimate that you just mentioned for A-Wing at the 40 plus? There was the theater and,
Yes, if we
Chapel?
go by their design right now, yeah, it's included. The theater and the chapel is included in that design. So if we
Okay, so-
take that out, we might save $1 million or so.
how many beds are we looking at for A-Wing? And this would be the memory care, right?
Correct.
So
It's
defer to
either
Steve.
30 or 31 beds.
40 million, huh? 45 and going up?
But it is the case that the feds are picking up a large portion of it.
Right, how much yeah, I forgot about that. How much would the feds pick up?
Looking at, let's say if the price was 49 million, the Fed would be paying almost 32 and the state would be picking up the other 17 million.
Are
And just,
you,
go
are
ahead.
you anticipate, has this been approved on the federal list yet?
It has not, it's not even on the federal list yet.
Yikes.
This is quite a ways off. So we gave you money to do design work. Is the design documents gonna still be updated by the time we get on the list and know that we've been approved? But they need for the feds also to approve the project, do they need to have the design documents?
Oh, they want to see what they're paying for, yes.
Yeah.
So,
So you need to do the design documents.
Mhm.
So you need to submit to the feds in order to be approved or not to be on the list.
Yes.
we have a full set of designs right now. I have this huge roll in my office with full design. And what we've been trying to do is go through with BGS to try to cut certain things to lower the cost. So just to give you an idea, like they had in the design, full wooden staircases to go to the maintenance service area in the attic space. We cut maybe 30 or 40,000 off of that by putting in steel ship ladder style maintenance staircases. So we were able to cut costs in little ways from what they designed the latest and greatest. So we're still trying to cut that down to what we really need, not the latest and greatest best design. You know, they basically designed Disneyland out there in lighter terms. And there's things that we don't need in that.
So of the 1.5 million that we put for design for A-Wing, do you know how much of that's been expended?
Yes, just a little bit over $769,000.
About half has been expended.
Yes.
And you're still refining those design documents?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
And when are you anticipating submitting application to the feds?
Ooh, that's
That's
gonna be a Melissa.
Yep.
Yeah. Because we need, once we have the design, then it would go out for an estimate, or BGS could give the estimate for the cost that then we could submit to the feds. No, to the VA capital, and then it would be probably a couple of years, I would think, based upon historical, when it would rise onto the onto the list for the VA. And as we've done in the past with these VA projects, we would submit, and then at a later point when we receive the monies from the VA, we would be returning the funds to the state of that 65%. We've I think our mold remediation years ago we did. So
So you've spent half of the 1.5 million.
mhm.
And you're still refining the document, you're still sort of refining those design documents, and then we don't know when that's gonna be submitted to the feds
Hmm.
to see if they approve, and then it could be a 2-year process before it gets approved, and then by that point, you may have to update the designs.
Yeah. Like I mentioned, like Melissa had also said, we if we're all set and ready to go, we'll go forward to get the construction project going. And then when the VA approves, we refund the money back to the state of that 65%.
Are there times when we've gone ahead with the construction project and the feds have not approved that project, and then we're left holding the whole bag? Oh, wow.
I can't think of since I've been here, where has that happened? There may be a time delay, but nothing for nothing where they just flat out said no. It just has to go through, the the VA process, where there's like 1 some odd billion dollars of projects, and they only fund 200 million.
Kevin?
Steve, are we running into snags in finishing up the design, or is it just the normal time it's taken to get there?
What was that again about the design?
Yeah, I mean, is this the normal time you would expect it to take to get this design done, or are we running into problems?
And I don't know if we're running into problems. I would defer that to BGS, for the design work.
Okay,
Yeah, unless if you know something, Greg.
Well, it just with my experience dealing with engineers and architects and all that, it does take time. I mean, a project of this size it does take time. It could be years before everything's finalized, but I think we're in a good place. We have a nice design set, and now we just have to take away things that we don't really need. I think it's on track when it comes
Okay.
down to it.
Mhm.
Well, it was designed for Cadillac, and you really only need a Chevy.
Right.
I mean, I hate to use those old analogies. The vehicles are so different now.
You got to be realistic. I mean, yeah,
We might need a GMC.
yeah, right.
Needs
And
a
this is,
Subaru, right?
and this
You need
is,
more in a Subaru. James?
and
And-
this is something that Greg had just mentioned, like I'll say, using the A-wing dining hall for laundry, received yesterday a laundry design fee. This was supposed, for the project itself to build something. The design fee was $136,250. And BGS was estimating a construction cost of $1 million for the laundry.
Yep.
So,
Cost has gone up between concrete and lumber.
Yeah, I think it's something's funny there. I
Yeah.
don't see two walls and a roof
Mhm.
costing that much.
Yep. So,
So if-
that's why we looked at, or Greg, a couple of months ago, looked at a wing, a dining hall and to use that, save money on the A-wing project itself and then save money for laundry.
So I have a question about using the dining hall
Mhm.
space. You're dealing with a memory care unit. Are you planning another dining hall in that unit for those folks so that you don't have to move them to another dining hall, which is really disruptive for folks with memory issues?
Yeah, there in the design there is a dining hall.
Okay,
That existing dining hall was going to be used for a theater
okay,
and a chapel. So it was
Okay.
not even going to be used as a dining hall.
okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is all evolving.
Elevator.
Mhm. Yep.
Right, I'll get back, forgot about that. So this is all evolving. We'll deal with it more next year. We'll have more information and hopefully the heat pump situation can get straightened out and hopefully you'll have new boiler system. And maybe a generator. So I did go over the elevator project. So the elevator project, we had put in $1 million in FY '24. And where are we with that?
So we held a pre-bid meeting a couple months ago. Nobody showed up. Then we just held another pre-bid meeting. We had one contractor show up. So for the design itself, BGS decided to just let the company that's designing the boilers do the design work, and then they're just still sorting out, the estimates that are coming in for the rehab for the two elevator shafts. So that's in progress. But
There's a
just by seeing some of the estimates that have come back, um, we should be well within, yeah, or under the renovation cost that was allowed.
The 1 million.
Oh yeah, I mean, some of these estimates only came in they're under 400,000 for both of them.
It's a pleasant surprise.
And how many
Yeah.
elevators? You only need 2?
We have two. We have one that goes from basement, and it's basically a personnel elevator. We can't put a pallet or anything in there. The doorway's too small. So it goes from basement to first floor and then up to second floor, finance admin. Then we have a service elevator that only goes from first floor to basement, and that's a larger service elevator, like 4,500 pound capacity.
So when you said 400, is that 400 for both of them or 400 each?
Surprisingly enough, it was 400,000 for both of them.
Are you
And that's-
sure on that price?
That's what they've came back with. Because
we-
the mechanisms inside are still in really good shape. It's basically just a renovation of all electronics, the pumps, the inside of the car renovations, and they said everything else is serviceable. It's really not worn out. There's
So
a
how much-
few upgrades to
For
meet
how long?
code, but that stuff is in those bids.
So how much of the 1 million has already been expended?
Right now, we
Yeah.
haven't spent anything. Unless BGS has some costs in there, but on our end, we have nothing.
You think 500 would carry you through?
Just looking at their bids, I mean, it was surprising to me. Elevators are very expensive, but if they were to pull them all out and redo everything, then yes, I could see that going over to where we originally had monies allotted for. But seeing their costs come back for renovations, it's surprising.
Greg, how long did they say that the systems within these elevators will last? Is it better to just redo the whole thing or now and have it new for the long haul? Or
So-
to,
so-
put these in and have the old equipment in it, even though they're still able to be in use?
So when they did their inspections, our elevators are piston driven. They're not cable driven. So the cables, there's no cables. They're all piston driven that are buried beneath the surface, and they drive upward and retract. all they do is have to replace some seals. The cylinders looked really good. The pumps, obviously the pumps and the operation system has to be updated. But that was all included in this. I was astonished when I saw the prices. But like the rail system that runs it up and down, all in great shape, no rust, no deterioration. I mean, we don't have serious heavy use. It's just, bringing equipment downstairs and back up. The other elevator that runs the 3 floors, that only gets personnel use.
We'll take the win.
Oh yeah, I like that, the numbers.
Mhm.
Better than 47 million.
Okay. Anything else on these outstanding projects? So
I don't think we're in Marysville.
let's go to the sewer project. And I know there's $500,000 put in cash for FY 27. You're prioritizing this for your biggest unit because it's feeds your biggest unit and it's most at risk.
Correct.
You hope to do it during the summer and fall. And have you applied for federal dollars for this yet? just-
I'll default to, that's Melissa's intention, is to apply for a VA grant to help cover 65% of the cost.
So I just want to add, what you see in the picture there, that just reoccurred again. So I just had a company come in and have to flush it again. So this time it was actually less expensive because
Right.
we bored a hole through our foundation so they can get their suction and their jetter into the building. And it was not that big of a mess this time.
So there's $500,000, you've asked for 750 is the estimated cost. Is that the total project cost or is that after we receive federal money?
I believe that's the total project cost.
Okay. I got some thoughts.
Mhm.
Sean,
I'm taking back my question.
James.
So if the project cost is estimated at 750, why is the request for 500 and where's the other 250 coming from?
The administration only put in 500.
Well, I get that part, but I mean, the 250 is gonna be coming from somewhere. Or you can't finish it. Or I didn't know if they knew the answer to that. If they don't,
I don't
then it's
know.
fine.
Well, I
Can
think what we need to do is really focus on C-Wing first, because that is our very problematic area. And then we can move to the other wings that aren't, causing us big problems right now. But eventually it all has to get done. And, when we asked for 750, that would have been for the whole project.
Okay, so
So
the
that-
steps.
That would be the whole project of B and C wing.
And a little under D-Wing too.
Okay.
So basically all the main sewer lines in the facility,
Okay,
excluding A-Wing.
yeah, so it's not an
And,
all or,
north is in good shape, so.
it's not an all or nothing thing is what, so it's the piece by piece. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Questions? So you got in the elevator, you got $500,000 that you may not need, right?
Correct.
And then you got $500,000 that the governor put in for the sewer pipe, right? So we could move that $500,000 from elevator to this and beef you up to 250. So that you have 750 for this. The other option that we could do is leave $1 million in for your elevator. Have this project be 250 and allow you to move money between those two projects. Does
Yeah,
that keep
That sounds like a good idea. Just like
Does
you
that-
allowed us between the heat pump and the laundry. So whatever's left over from the heat pump systems will go towards the laundry.
Right,
So at the end of the day, you know, the books will balance out. If we, through the heat pump system and the laundry, we may be giving you back money that could be
Mhm.
utilized somewhere else, I guess.
so what we would end up doing in our spreadsheet, and we need language, is you could do it a variety of ways, but maybe the cleanest way, I don't know. You keep the million for the elevator. That's bonded dollars. We zero out the 500,000 in cash. And we increase bonding if we can by 250,000. So you end up for the elevator project and you end up for the sewer project, 1.25 million. Committee follow?
Mhm.
Then you're moving 250 to bond it because the original 1 million's in bonded in FY '24.
Mhm.
So we have to make sure we have enough in the bonded box to pick up that 250. And then there's 500,000 in cash that's freed up. Does that make sense to folks?
Yes, it
Does
does.
that make sense to you, John?
Putting the 500K cash and adding 27 bond at 250.
Yeah, but language to move money between the elevator project that was in FY '24. There's a
Okay.
million in bonded dollars there. So the elevator, what they're anticipating is 400,000. So instead of pulling 500,000 and move it out, we allow them to use the balance of the elevator project to help with the sewer project.
Yeah, okay.
So it makes you, the goal is to make you whole on the sewer project at 750,000. And also to make sure you've got enough there for the elevator. But you got another 100,000 that you could put towards the elevator, because right now you're saying it's 400,000 for those two elevators. So there's a little flexibility, a little buffer there.
Yep.
Does that work? I hope.
Sounds good, at least.
Yes, to the extent that the elevator comes in at 400, which is, it'll work perfectly.
Like that part?
Well, and even if it doesn't, since we have, they've asked for 500 and we're making it so there's 750, it'll still be, I think that's 350 to play.
Anything else you folks want to share with us? Do I dare ask? Uh,
Oh, now that you mention it.
I mean, this has been
Greg?
this has been very, very helpful. We don't want to cut you too short, but we want to make sure you have flexibility.
We thank you for that.
Yes.
Last week, we had both licensing and protection in here, licensing protection for our annual survey and the VA in for our survey. As a result of that, we have to replace our sprinkler heads, all of them in the building, because they are, most of them have reached their useful life. Am I using the right terminology, Greg?
Yeah, they have a useful life of 50 years, and there's one wing that is at 49 years in a couple months. So they definitely need to be changed. B
What's
wing,
the
that's C
type?
wing and B wing, and then East hallway. Those are all at end of life. They're between 48 years and the 50-year marker.
What is,
Thing, we're not sprinkling.
what is the price?
I was just gonna say, I've
That's the whole room just about.
Greg, what is the price tag?
Did you hear that, Greg? We're asking
Yeah.
what would be
What is the price?
Yeah, what's the anticipated cost of that? You know?
I know nothing. I'll defer to Greg, but I'm gonna presume somewhere between 150 and 250,000.
That's correct. So on the high side, 250,000.
Yeah.
I don't say thought.
And this was last week, so nothing Nothing
So-
has really been
Because
done.
the other things that are included in just, it's not as simple as changing sprinkler heads out. We have to drain the system, we have to change the sprinkler heads, and then we have expired antifreeze in the line that has to be updated. So we're gonna do glycol in the system, which has a longer expiration date. So putting this all in the system, it might be 150,000 to 200,000 for sprinkler heads to be replaced, but we also have, X amount of dollars to redo all the glycol in the bill, in
Does that
that,
have
the
column?
sections, yeah.
So are you under a deadline from the regulators to get this done?
Pretty much before the next survey next year.
And
'Cause then
when's the survey next year?
Anytime after January 1st.
Exactly. We
And-
never know when they're gonna pop in.
Mhm.
Okay, and then in FY 24, we put in for Vets Home maintenance, 260,000. Do you know anything about that, or did that just go to BGS?
I was not here the full year of 24, so I came in mid-year, so I don't, Steve would have
I
to.
think, yeah, I'm gonna default to that it went to BGS for our behalf.
Is there any way BGS can track that 260?
I'll
Let's
I'll
see.
send an email to our contact up there and ask them. And get back to you.
Is there any way with those heat pumps? You've still expended. How much money of the heat pumps have you expended? You've expended 46,000, 446,000 out of 710. And that purchased all the air handlers that you needed? The heat pumps?
Yeah, we have all the equipment here.
And would there
we're-
be any,
We
would
were
there be
doing
any?
in-house installation because we have an HVAC technician here on site. So he was installing them. The other cost that was out of it was CTC controller company. They came in and had to rewire. But that's pretty much all been completed. For the wiring aspect of things, we just have to install the rest of them.
So was that included in the 446 that's already been expended?
Majority of the controller work, yes. There might be a little bit that they have to do, but it's not gonna be, $100,000 worth.
So if we pulled 100,000 from the air handlers, you'd still be covered? From the 710? If we pulled 100,000? From that?
Well, we were anticipating to float that to laundry if whatever was left over.
Thinking
That
of
was
floating
that was the
that.
original agreement, so.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if we float that to, oh God, the sprinklers. You're anticipating about what, 250 for the sprinklers?
Yeah, I would say 250 or under.
Let us do some thinking. I don't know where the committee is, but I think they would want to think about this.
Mhm.
Am I right?
I wouldn't want to cut them short because they seem to be managing what we give them very well. Yep. Give is the wrong word. Not ours to give. No.
And then the 1.5 that we moved for the design documents for A. That's still covered, that's more than, how much of those design documents start a cost for A wing?
So I think we spoke about 769,000 already spent.
Yes.
Right, it's half. Yep,
I mean,
Yeah.
100,000 out of that, I don't see
Right.
that being a
that's why I
big
just
problem.
did. So 100, so we did,
Because originally that 1.5 was for B and C wing renovations.
So,
This sprinklers would have been done, ceilings would have been done, windows, things like that out of that.
so we could use the balance of that design project, the 1.5 for your sprinklers.
That sounds fair, but I would definitely have to consult with Melissa to find out if there was anything else that
Could
was
you do
added to
that?
that. Cause I don't really have anything to do with the money wise and the applications of grants on that end.
So the elevator we can use, I mean, maybe it's more complicated than moving money, but the first step was half of the elevators. And then 250 do sewer project. Now, the other piece is 1.5 million for design documents for A wing that you're not gonna, you think you're not gonna use all of it. And if you could put 500,000 of that or whatever towards your sprinkler system,
Mhm.
does that sound fair?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Yes.
It's getting complicated.
Yeah.
That's all I know. It's really getting complicated. And I don't know if there's easier ways of doing this.
We have an extremely old building here that's just always needing work.
I know. But the sprinkler system, you really need to get that done.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Sprinkler and sewer. One on top and one underneath. And laundry in the middle.
Yes.
And then we may all end up in the memory care. I'm not gonna ask, is there anything else? Cause sorry.
No,
That was the last one from last week, and we emailed Melissa, just asked, is it okay to mention, and she said, please go ahead.
Right. So John, you got our drill, right?
Yes.
Moving money?
Yep, 1.5, balance of the 1.5 A wing available to sprinklers.
Yeah, we'll have to work with Scott.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, else from the committee? I'm not gonna ask you two on Zoom. Anything else from the committee?
Nope.
I want to thank both of you for being willing to come in on such short notice. We are starting the markup kind of late in the session. But I'm glad that you had time to weigh in, and we're trying to help you out as best we can within money that we have.
Yeah.
So, stay posted, Melissa, stay in contact with Mary. Mary can stay in contact with you,
Yeah.
let you know where we end up.
You're in charge.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate it so much.
Thank you for your time, and Mr. Myers said to say hi.
Here you
Mary.
go, Steve.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate
Thank you.
this.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Right.
Bye.
Have a good afternoon.
Yeah. So we're moving money around.
It's better than yesterday.
Okay, well, that was very helpful. Moving money around. I hope I can remember what I proposed.
It's all fungible.
Always look at
Yeah, you move money around,
it.
really gets a little scary. And that will change in a month.
The only thing I should have said is when he said, if they replace the heat pumps, we should have said we want brand new ones, not ones that failed already. And
That's a
then
shame.
it's like. But he used the word if they can, and it's like, no, they should. They should be brand new and working, right off the bat.
She's not talking over me.
Well, what was the other one I did?
Could anything else go wrong? But I shouldn't ask that question, because then it does. Jeez.
500 for sprinklers, that leaves 1 million for design documents. So folks are comfortable with moving all this money around?
Yes.
Yes.
I have to tell Scott, because some of this is moving from cash to bonds. And I wonder if there's an easier way to do it.
How you explained it was pretty simple.
No, I just. So the sewer system is cash. So we can use cash for the sprinkler. And then.
No, cash was gonna come out of that 1.5 for the sprinkler.
For the.
I mean-
For the wing, A wing,
Yeah,
that's cash. For the A wing was cash,
oh, it was, okay,
1.5.
never mind, okay.
So the sprinkler's coming out of that, so that's cash. And then the sewer is coming out of the elevator. And the elevator was $1 million. Huh? What?
We don't like
It's
the idea of
just
the,
a visual,
Sewer coming-
the sewer coming out of the
we don't
elevator.
want the sewer coming out of it.
That stuff, yeah.
We're gonna.
Because that doesn't-
I wanna make sure I got
That's what
this
you need
right.
there, yeah.
Let me see, if I can speak, because sometimes it is, that's not. Oh, this is reallocation. Okay, hang on, folks. Sure. So we didn't write it up that way back then. Safe. So the elevator was bonded dollars. So in order to use the elevator and the sewer. The elevator. How much left do we have in the elevator? $500,000, right? We had $500,000 left in the elevator. So we're moving 500,000 from cash to the elevator. And they could move money between the two projects. Were we gonna add 250 to that? We were gonna add 250
We were.
in bonded dollars to
Yeah.
that, so it's
Yes.
1.25. We gotta remember that, because we're freeing up $500,000 in cash, but we're putting 250 additional on bonded. Hope I can remember this with Scott. So let's keep going. Let's go work till 12. Really want to get through this. Almost there. Really, we are.
Actually.
So judiciary. And then John is gone, but,
On section 14.
yeah. Let's see judiciary.
Did you share? Yeah.
Yes.
I know I can.
Got it all figured out.
No. I'll just guide it into control.
So for the judiciary. Woodstock backup got done, the Essex. What I followed up with Terry Corzone. And the 500,000 for the addition for their water piece. Just talk about Newport, where was the? It was for their, because remember the town water couldn't hold on, couldn't do
Yep.
Guildhall. So they needed the water system so they could split their sprinkler system. And they wanted to make sure that that $500,000 stayed in there. And I got a notice, I believe it was last week from Terry. That it is 500,000. I just want to double check. And remember, we talked about putting a fence around that with a letter of intent.
We're gonna suggest clean water fund too.
That was for Guildhall.
Oh, you're right, yeah.
I misunderstood. I thought you were talking about Gil.
So she submitted to me at the end of February, Carrie Corzone, documentation for the Essex County Courthouse confirms that the initial project cost estimate of 500,000 is accurate. So one thing we talked about in January to allow them to make sure that the 500,000 stays in there and is not subject to change as it works through the process. We thought of doing a letter of intent from both committees to the judiciary, and BGS isn't involved in any of this, right? To the judiciary, assuring them that that $500,000 will be there at the end of the session. Have an agreement with Senate institutions. I will circle back. But I had that initial agreement with Senate institution at the beginning of the session when they first talked about it. Because they were really worried that if they have to wait till May, when we finish all of our work, they might lose the contract with the builder, the construction company that they're working with.
Right.
So if we do a letter of intent from both committees have made an agreement, we're not touching this half as it goes through the process. Be on board with that.
Yes, ma'am.
I will reach out to the chair of institutions and work with John and have that letter of intent drafted on behalf of both committees. I'll get that done by next week. So let's keep going. I just got a text from the speaker wondering if we need to work this afternoon. I
think so.
would like that flexibility.
Yeah, we need it.
She wants to know how much time. I have another chair who needs time as well.
2 hours.
I'm trying to coordinate.
Opening offer.
What's on that? Well, we got some bills up. Conference committee reports up today. Do you know that?
I did not know that.
You gotta look at notice. Gotta look at notice. Conference committee report is due.
Real.
Your bill is due. Third reading is due. So it depends on all that comes up. Want to do it at the beginning or end?
We know,
Get you. It's almost immediate.
You're almost immediate.
Yeah, I've also got judicial
but third-
retention right until then, so yeah, I'll be down to the wire.
Yeah, but third reading comes up first. I haven't looked at notice. Is
I
it?
don't know when conference committee is up, but
It's on notice yesterday.
once we get into today's action, then I think Connor is first.
Then we have third reading with Gina first.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we get to today's count. So I'm not anticipating third reading is gonna be a problem.
Hmm?
I'm not anticipating third reading is gonna be a problem.
No, but we need to be there on the floor.
Yeah,
Need to be there on the.
so I would say, once our business is done, we can get off the floor. And I would predict our business will be done by 2:30. I just don't know when James is up.
Unless we,
He's at the.
we have one third reading that I think
After all
it's,
The bills for today, the second reading bills.
the third reading is a likely roll. call.
The committee of conference report is after those, the other second
Yes,
reading.
It's
No,
after
no,
it's at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah, judiciary,
Oh.
arts and open. Position.
Unless they want to.
I'm not doing, I would be very surprised.
And then you got third readings. Are there any amendments to those?
there's some agreements,
I was.
I don't see any.
That would be great.
what I've heard.
I've heard this too, but it only takes one maverick, and 3 people to stand up and.
I was stand up.
Huh?
Sorry, I was stand up. They want to talk, they're gonna talk.
You're after a couple. That can be. Recidivism.
Preference, this is not occur.
No,
It's only 3 or 4.
We're live.
Yep.
So we could come off the floor.
You ever seen somebody ask for?
We could come off the floor after 294 is done.
Just too
Pretty close.
And people think for 2 hours?
Probably.
Paraquat.
Where's Parapet?
Paraquat's down here, that, then I have a lot of my peeps who are asking me to vote, against
You think
that.
we could get much done in an hour?
Not really.
Sure, but
We could try.
Well, we
though.
don't have any, the question is, folks, we don't have any dollars really left.
Right.
So we need to get another spreadsheet unless we want to start up and finish. What I would do, there may be some changes that we want to make based on some testimony yesterday. I would say give us an hour. Because we're gonna have to have a new spreadsheet made and we gotta
Okay.
get Scott to do it. And,
Will Scott be here this afternoon with us?
he could be, I would say an hour after we finish with H 294, because we can't really come off the floor. Unless folks want to take from 12:30 to 1:30.
I gotta be, at the Senate at 1
I've got
to read 6:35 to them, but not for long.
So let's do for an hour.
Okay.
I would say after H 294, because we've got recidivism, financial traction for healthcare, opioid abatement, special fund, herbicide,
Yes.
mental health support, and substance disorder prevention
I'll
in
be there.
schools, miscellaneous public utilities. And then we've got our conference committee report.
I mean, I read through all those and there are no like split committee votes.
That- You never know.
Everybody's not.
So you never know what's gonna happen on the floor.
Well, I understand that, but
So an hour after we finish H 294,
Sure.
sure.
okay, let's quickly get through here. Desks. Courts. We've got Oil Valley, 190. They didn't say anything about the backup on that one, power backup. I'm assuming that's done. White River Courthouse. This is, they've already moved back in, I believe, finally.
Yeah, that,
And this is for increased cost because of the embankment behind there for flooding.
right.
And
They already spent 13 million, so.
it's in the project. They went out to bid. The cost has increased.
Mhm,
And it is, this is cash.
mhm.
On the list, it says bond, but it's cash. Right? Yeah.
Oh,
It says it's bonded, not
It's
cash.
cash, 1.6.
Yeah, and it shows that in their spreadsheet too.
It's cash.
Cash,
So they have 1.1 total in bonds,
right?
and then because of previous. And then it's 1.6 in cash, not bond. So
In addition to 1.6. That's expensive riffraff.
Rip rap.
I understand.
and the court's already been
Want
open.
to keep the building there or not?
They went out to bid and the cost increased, so they took the money for the embankment in the project. So this is back because they had to take some money from the embankment project. Has this project, has the embankment project already gone through? Or they're going to do it?
It is, in the early phases, I can.
No, Joe's here. They have to do it.
Right.
They have not started it yet.
Because what happened is, what my notes is the construction cost of the renovations in the building increased, so they pulled money from this particular piece of the project. And then we're backfilling. So it may not be the full 1.6 for the riffraff. Because they had a total project cost that included this, but they pulled the money because there was an increase in the actual renovations of the building.
Yep.
Because it's over a $6 million. I think it's about 8 million total renovations of that building, White River. Probably, it's more than 6. I think it's around 8.
Um,
Okay. Because we put in 6.9 total, but there was previous there's 8 million total that we put in. But I think there was also more money in previous bills, but I'm not sure. It was a big project in there. So we okay with the 1.6?
yes.
Yes, yeah.
Newport. I have a lot of questions about this Newport thing.
Yep.
I really do. Have we reallocated anything for Newport? Because we've put money in there forever and ever. We put 500,000 in bonds in 22. 500,000 plus in bonds in 23. 750 bonds in 24. 500,000 cash, 25. And that was all to go towards possible purchase of property and starting design documents. That's what that was all to go to.
Can't find land.
They know where they wanted to put it, but the powers that be did not want to do it. Have we reallocated? It would be the 22 and 23. Maybe not the 23, but did we do any reallocations of that 500,000 at all? Before? No, that would have been bonds. I don't see it in this bill. Do you folks on the repo know anything about this?
That has not come up. I can just check my structure, but I don't think it can be anywhere. Because this was cash or, are you talking cash or bond?
It's 22 bond. So that would have been up, right?
Hold on just a second.
It's 2 years?
Between 2 and 3,
So we must,
anything over 5 is
we
shall.
may have left it in there thinking we're still working on the project, because that would have been up.
Court, so this was. Hold on,
I have a note that
525, I'm looking at that 525,
Well, there's 500,000.
expended by July 2026, that's on that 525.
So that was for FY 23 bond, but you don't have anything for the FY 22 bond?
Still listening.
What was your question?
I just have a note that they were giving back 750K and keeping 350K for design of the 1.1 mil. I wrote that down. That's my note from
Where's the
what
one?
Joe said, and that was in January. That was January 28th, because.
I don't see anything being reallocated.
Right.
So that's why I'm thinking in
I
the,
found that 750 FY 24 also expended by July 26. Still looking for that FY 22.
so can BGS help us and see if any of this money got?
I do not believe so.
I mean, it's-
Madam Chair, and part of our prior testimony on this was based on our strategy of trying to prioritize this project and moving it forward this year. So keeping the funding that we had available, again, in the hopes that we're able to move forward with the viable site and really get the thing on.
We reallocated 750,000 from Barry to go towards the Newport thing. That's what that is about.
Okay.
And keep 350,000 in Barry. It's the Barry courthouse. Because Newport, so. And did you say that they reallocated that 520? No, we're hanging on to all of that,
I'm
right?
saying notes from BGS on the 525 and the 750 are to be expended by July 26. The FY 22 is not showing up. I don't know where it is, but it's not showing up as to be reviewed in repo notes. It's not with any of the 2022 stuff.
So we got a lot of money tied up here. We've got 1.7 million plus for FY 27 bond that's being requested, and another 750,000 cash for this project, for a total of 4.6. And we've been looking at this for how many years? 6?
It's gotta be 5 years.
At least from 22. So it would be the session of 21. And we've been looking, we don't want to stop this project, but you need land. And you may have to purchase it.
Yes.
And we've given you the authority to purchase. Sean,
But Emily, I remember when Joe was here giving us testimony that he was also considering, because the land sitch is not working out very well, was to put an elevator on the outside of the existing courthouse to make it ADA compatible.
So a option would be, lacking other options, looking at renovations of the existing facility. However, we believe in our evaluation that is going to be a more difficult and really costlier approach that doesn't meet programming needs of judiciary for a number of reasons, like security concerns for their parking access, et cetera. And that's why we've been on the path and continue to be on the path of trying to find an alternative site for new construction. So again, I think I had given testimony with Joe on this and said, we are looking at a few options, trying to be located in a downtown area. As we are now, because we think that best serves the community for having accessibility to the courthouse right in downtown. There's a limited number of sites, of course. So again,
Big digs behind, right next to it too, or that big pit or whatever the hell it's called, right?
it is, that's
Yeah.
in receivership. So again, we are still working on that approach. We've been working closely with the city of Newport as they are initiating a downtown redevelopment initiative and looking at a potential tip. So we still are in partnership with them. We do not have a specific site identified at this particular time, but our path is to prioritize this project as much as possible. We are working on trying to move forward with a site in downtown, and lacking an option in downtown, we'll expand our search again. That is something that we've done previously. And again, we just don't want to go too far outside of downtown if we can avoid that. So we're still really in the same place that we were the last time we gave testimony on this. But again, that's our approach and priority is still trying to buy a parcel of land. And we think we can. Yeah.
we're folks. 4.6 million is sitting there.
In bonded or cash?
Both. Both, it's right up there.
Mhm.
Both. Both.
So you just gotta add all that up, right?
Yeah.
It's challenging.
So it's not, okay, so it's 1.2 in cash.
Yeah, but that is cash from FY 25,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got cash in FY 27.
So the other is $1.2 million.
And we didn't put anything in last year we didn't put anything in last year, FY 26, because we were hoping to have this resolved.
Right.
So we're not in any different place now than we were last year at this time.
No,
Any difference since you worked since 22?
no, they're having a hard time finding land. That's the thing,
I don't know what to do with this. I mean, I want,
Yeah.
Well, doesn't seem like anything's gonna happen anytime soon.
It's a tough one. You take the money away, then you gotta find it again.
Well, I mean, but you don't take it all away, but
You don't take it all away.
take some of it away.
but you can't do any design documents until you know where you're going.
Right, I mean, it doesn't seem like. it's
That's the
going
problem. Can't put any design documents till you know where you're gonna put it.
You can do some work, but really, right, the site will influence.
The site will influence.
Mhm.
And you're still gonna have 4 million in there, close to 4 million in
So
there.
take 715 cash and for now.
Take 750, take that 750 cash out,
Yep,
I'm leaning.
for this year,
leave the 1.7.
sure. Leave the bonded
So
money,
you're at
whatever, take the
3.9?
cash.
That's fair enough.
I don't know, it's just an idea. I'm not saying we have to do it, but I'm just saying if
3.8.
and if it comes up to a life next year, then you like, you know, you find the money, give it back to them so they can move forward.
I will say our request and recommendation is that we have the funds because we're, again, really trying to prioritize moving forward. However, we don't currently have a site, so I'm just being candid about where we're at. We are trying to, again, have the funds available so that we are in a good position to move forward. So that was our strategy and approach. Again, looking at Barry and here is trying to put our eggs more in one basket for prioritization. But again, just share, we do not have a site at this point.
We don't want to cut you short, but we also, there's 4.6 million that's sitting there. If we could pull 750, and then you're down to 3.8,
8-ish.
3.9.
But, okay,
3.8-ish.
I just have a quick question for Emily
Mhm.
then. But, okay, so let's say we take 750 in cash out of there, right? And you're looking at 3.8. Can you still move ahead with, let's say this summer you find land or the pit opens up or whatever. Can you move ahead with design with the money you have, 3.8 million?
Balance.
Yeah, I mean, it ultimately would depend on how much we pay for the property.
Right. I see. You want that cash and you want money in there to buy that property.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but we
it
don't
would
know what
be-
the cost is.
It would be to buy property
And
and
design,
moving
start
forward.
design.
Okay.
So ultimately, it just depends on what we.
Yep.
what we pay.
Troy?
What was the most recent ask from the owner? There was a request, like, we've made the offer.
For the pit.
I can't,
For the pit,
It's too much.
so.
Yeah.
Yes, prior to my time with BGS, we were trying to purchase the pit. There have been a few appraisals done, some by the state, some by the city. And at the time, the asking price was higher than what our appraised value showed. I want to say the asking price was closer to 2 million. I
that's
gotta
what
say, I wasn't
remember too.
wasn't here, so I don't know exactly, but I want to say at the time it was about 2 million.
Right, that's what I remember.
So there's a private person owns it.
Yeah.
No, it was.
It's in
Yeah.
receivership. The pit,
It's a federal
it's in
receivership.
receivership. It was part of the Ponzi scheme.
Oh, that's right.
Part of the what?
That was
Ponzi.
That was the
Ponzi
whole,
scheme.
oh, right, that was gonna be that big
Yeah.
medical facility. That's right. That's right.
Part of the Ponzi scheme. So it's in receivership and it's been there for a long time.
That's right. They knocked it down for that.
And that's what we were hoping to use was the pit, but the city of Newport has different plans that they use
Well, they probably want housing in there.
for economic development.
Sure, combo, which we could all work together on that.
So you want to pencil in that we take the 750 cash out?
Mhm.
We don't, I
Penciling.
mean, we want to prioritize this. There's no doubt about it. We need to get it done. We've been working on this since the session of 21.
Mhm.
I'm just wondering if too, we could look at if there is. I got some thoughts for some language. Let me talk to you. Ann. I got some thoughts for maybe it's back up.
Yep,
Um,
it's noted.
talk to Emily. Get something going that's not true.
Right.
2 minutes to 12.
And then the rest is dry hydrants. We've done this every year. And then Historical Society, the actual estimate was 566,724.
Mhm.
And that was control units replacement. Again, it's
Very.
dealing with moisture in, this is our state library.
Yep.
For people on that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay.
Alone.
Okey dokey,
It's not
12
enough to-
o'clock.
It's not enough to
Are you over?
So let me see here what we got. Got it. Okay, so the speaker says that works. So after we finish, no, being chair, you gotta have 10 things going through your brain at the same time. You know that?
Yep.
You guys are lucky. You only have 5 things going through your brain.
I will say I have 5.5 things.
So you gotta be ready for your conference
I got it
committee
ready.
report. So we'll be back after Connor finishes. Let's hope you're not drilled.
Got a nice long floor report ready to go. That's good.
So we will come back
Oh, yeah.
here after we finish H 294 on the floor, for probably an hour, because I want to go back to the top of the spreadsheet because we may be changing things.
Mhm.
I'm gonna sit down with Scott to go through what we just did. I can remember it. Maybe 1 or 2 of you want to hang out just in case. And then once we come back for an hour and go through the spreadsheet a little bit, that gives Scott the time to redo a spreadsheet, and then we've got to look at the language at the back of the bill. For that. Okay? And you guys.
Any cheat sheet
Ooh.
or cheat sheet in your flow report?
I gotta look. Okay, so let's take a break and let's come back.